In this video, I'm going to break down 12 side effects of intermittent fasting and what to do about them. Let's do this. Hey Keto Camper, Ben Azadi here, certified functional health practitioner, best-selling author of 3 books, and here at Keto Camp, we are on a mission to educate and inspire 1 billion people on planet Earth. This video is all about fasting. So if you are practicing intermittent fasting or thinking about practicing intermittent fasting in 2020, then you want to pay attention here because I'm going to break down 12 side effects I've seen with working with thousands of people over the last 6 years teaching fasting. These 12 side effects happen often and what to do about each side effect. So I'm going to break down line by line, so get your pen and paper, get your fatty coffee, and take notes. First of all, what are some of the benefits of intermittent fasting? Well, science has shown, and in my book, The Intermittent Fasting Cheat Sheet, I go over this. We know that when you fast, you burn fat for fuel instead of sugar. We all want that. We want to lose some body weight, we want to lose some body fat, and we want to feel good. We know fasting can help with anti-aging. It helps elevate human growth hormone, which is a powerful fat-burning hormone and also an anti-aging hormone. In fact, the study showed a 2,000% increase in human growth hormone after a 24-hour fast in men and a 1,300% increase in human growth hormone after a 24-hour fast in women. So fasting is very powerful. It helps prevent disease via a process called autophagy, your body's recycling cells. The body requires 70 billion cells that need to be recycled and cleaned out every single day. And when you fast, you turn on this autophagy switch, which helps you accomplish that. So it helps you prevent disease. It helps with brain function. It helps with mental clarity, with focus, and it helps you keep control over your hunger so your hunger does not control you. So we know there's so many benefits to intermittent fasting, and finally the studies and the research and the science is starting to catch up. However, there are 12 side effects that usually happen when people embark on an intermittent fasting schedule. So I'm going to go over each one with you right now and give you a solution or protocol to help with each one. The first one is going to be headaches, dizziness, mental fog, and feeling a little sluggish when you practice intermittent fasting. The main reason here is an electrolyte imbalance. When you start practicing intermittent fasting, your body is going to burn fat. We want that. Your adrenals are also, and your kidneys are also going to dump a lot of excess water weight. So you're going to feel lighter, you're going to feel good. But with that water weight goes a lot of your electrolytes, a lot of your minerals. So it's important to drink some water with some sea salt during your fast. And if you're doing a fast with coffee, like I have my fatty coffee right here, I always throw in some sea salt with my coffee because coffee is also a diuretic. So you lose even more electrolytes when you're drinking coffee during a fast. So it's important. Put some sea salt in your coffee. Put some sea salt in your water. Put some sea salt in your food and replenish those electrolytes. And then it's also important when you are eating to have more of those green leafy vegetables to get those minerals back into the mix. It's also a good idea to have some bone broth during your eating window to get back those minerals. And you could also drink some pickle juice during the fast or during your eating window. Pickle juice is a great way to replenish those electrolytes. So that's your antidote. The final thing here on feeling headaches, dizziness, mental fatigue is to drink the keto cocktail that I wrote about in my keto kickstart guide. The keto cocktail, if you drink this during your fast, you're gonna feel like a rock star. Now here's the deal. The apple cider vinegar in this might break your fast, but there's benefits to that apple cider vinegar. So if you're just starting with fasting, I'm okay with you having this. The keto cocktail consists of 16 ounces of quality water, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, a pinch of sea salt, and 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. You're gonna mix that into a cup and drink it. It's a great way to replenish your electrolytes. Have that every morning and you'll feel much better. The headaches will go away, dizziness will go away, and you'll feel sharp. The second side effect of intermittent fasting is bloating. Bloating when you break the fast. This is very common, and the reason this happens is because when you are practicing fasting, your digestive system has gone to a break. It's resting, it's repairing. So many people have digestive issues, acid reflux, they're burping, they're farting, they're having issues with their gut because they're constantly eating food every 2 to 3 hours. So what happens is when you do fast, your body's gonna start repairing the gut for the first time in a long time. And the analogy that I like to give is a corporate worker named Henry who works a 9-to-5 job, and after a long day's work, it's 5 p.m., he's walking to his car, he just put in 8 hours of hard work, and he's about to enter his car to go home and rest. He gets a phone call from his boss saying, "Hey, Henry, we need you to come back into the office. There's a project we want you to work on for a few hours." So he goes back into the office and he works for another 5 hours. It's now 10 p.m. at night, and now Henry is exhausted. He's walking to his car again, and he gets that same phone call to come back in. This is what's happening to our digestive system when we are eating every 2 to 3 hours, we're not skipping meals, and we're not practicing intermittent fasting. Dr. Zach Bush showed a study that it takes 14 hours to process a standard American diet meal. They did a study on college students who were eating a standard American diet, 2 slices of pizza, which was 800 calories, and they tracked how long it took from eating that food to the food exiting the colon. 14 hours, meaning if you're not fasting for at least 14 hours, you're getting this backlog in your digestive system. So my point here is when you start fasting, your body is going to repair those digestive enzymes. It's going to starve down bacteria. And when you break your fast too soon, too quickly with all this food, it could create bloating. So here's the protocol for you. Chew slowly. Make sure you're letting those digestive enzymes do its thing. Take a supplement with ox bile. It's important to do that. I like also atrantil and Systemic Formulas D-Digest. I'll put a link for both of those down below. And it's also a good idea to break your fast with mostly lean protein. And then 30 to 60 minutes after, you could have the rest of your meal. That'll get rid of the bloating. That is a wise thing to do if you're experiencing bloating after breaking a fast. The third side effect is going to be feeling nauseous during the fast. And the number one culprit I hear is a sluggish liver and gallbladder. Let's face it, the liver is so important. It is the soccer mom organ of all organs. She does everything and anything we want her to do. And when we are eating a standard American diet or eating every 2 to 3 hours and eating processed junk, the liver is being beat up, not to mention all the toxins out there that the liver has to process. So what happens is, when we have a sluggish liver gallbladder, it could result in feeling nauseous. So the antidote is to take a high-quality digestive enzyme before all meals that I mentioned before that has ox bile in it. That'll help the liver support some healthy bile. Also, it's a good idea to drink some digestive bitters during your fast. Urban Moonshine makes a great product of digestive bitters. You just put a few drops in your water, drink it throughout your fast. That will help with feeling nauseous. And then during your eating window, have more bitter-rich foods. So have some arugula, have some dandelion greens, some ginger tea, cranberries, dark chocolate, and even, yes, organic shade-grown coffee can help with that feeling of nausea. The next side effect I see, number 4, is going to be diarrhea. The number one culprit here are toxins, because here's what happens when we begin to fast. The body is going to burn our fat cells during a fast. Awesome, right? However, a lot of these fat cells, they store toxins, and these toxins have accumulated over many years. Let's face it, when it comes to toxins, we are living in a world where they are everywhere. Think of the Lysol, the Clorox wipes, your detergent, the perfume, the Febreze spray, the car fumes. I mean, I could go on and on and on. When toxins enter the body, when we're breathing them, when we're consuming them, when they're touching our skin, the body is so freaking smart, it does not want those toxins to enter our vital organs, our heart, our kidneys, our brain. So what it does, it activates a pathway called the PPARY pathway, which actually enlarges your fat cells or creates new fat cells for those toxins to go in and live in. So when you burn fat, you burn those fat cells during a fast, your body cannot burn toxins. It could burn fat, but not toxins. So where are those toxins going? They're being reabsorbed, and that could result in not feeling so great during a fast and diarrhea. So the antidote here is to, like I mentioned before, eat those bitter-rich foods, drink the digestive bitters during your fast because that'll help you stimulate bile to remove those toxins. And then secondly is to take a supplement that's gonna help bind those toxins and get it out of the system. I highly recommend taking 4 of Systemic Formulas Bind, B-I-N-D, before bed because the liver will dump bile overnight. And if you take Bind before bed, it'll act as a catcher's mitt to take those toxins out of the body and remove it. So first, try those bitters, and if that doesn't work, the bind will help with the diarrhea. Something else you can do is each morning have a tablespoon of psyllium husk with water, 12 ounces of water, and stir it, let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then consume that. That could help with diarrhea as well. Just take caution if you suspect or you know that you have small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, SIBO, that could flare it up. Okay, but it could help with a lot of people. That's 1 tablespoon of psyllium husk, 12 ounces of water, stir it, let it sit for 5 minutes. That'll help with the diarrhea. Next on my list is going to be acid reflux is a common side effect of intermittent fasting. I do have a video all about how to use keto and fasting to heal the gut. And my girlfriend, actually, Natasha, joined me in that video. So if you want to watch that here on YouTube, click that little arrow right there. There's going to be a card and you can watch it when this video is done. But here's what you want to do. Here's your protocol. Consume about 1 to 3 tablespoons of lemon juice and apple cider vinegar with water during the day. That's going to help with heartburn. And that, I know apple cider vinegar doesn't taste that great, but you could also take it in capsule form. And if you're experiencing acid reflux, then it's probably a good idea to avoid the bone broth and the pickle juice that I mentioned earlier. So make sure you're not consuming that because that could flare it up. But lemon juice, apple cider vinegar with water would really make a big dent in your acid reflux. The next side effect of intermittent fasting is going to be gout pain. A lot of people are scared to try keto and fasting because they've read or heard that a lot of people get a flare up in gout. Here's the deal. The real cause of gout is inflammation. I mean, inflammation is the root cause of a lot of things, but when it comes to gout, when we have high levels of inflammation, the body produces uric acid to deal with it because guess what? Uric acid is actually an antioxidant. So fasting can actually spike uric acid in the body for some people, and if that's happening to you or you suspect that it can happen to you, here's what you can do. Shorten your fasting window and then build that fasting muscle up a little bit before you continue. 5 things that trigger gout are this. Fructose and sucrose, avoid that during your eating window. Alcohol, avoid that during your eating window. Vegetable oils like canola oil, soybean oil, safflower oil, peanut oil, cottonseed oil, and these industrial seed oils could flare up gout and inflammation. Avoid that. Sugar and grains can flare up gout, and then tap water can also flare up gout. So avoid those and that gout will go away and you can practice intermittent fasting without any flare-ups. I have an entire video I made all about gout. So if you have gout or know somebody with gout, you gotta watch this video. I'm gonna put a link for it right here in the cards of this YouTube video. I go into detail. I also have a complete protocol for you in that video. The next side effect of intermittent fasting is going to be bad breath. And the reason this happens, the main reason is those toxins I mentioned earlier. When toxins are being released, it can result in having bad breath. Not fun for you or your partner, is it? So what you can do is what I mentioned earlier, take 4 of those bind supplements before bed. If you don't want to spend your money on the bind, then eat more of those bitter-rich foods during your eating window that I mentioned earlier. The bile could help remove some of those toxins. You could also scrape your tongue efficiently and do some coconut pulling, okay? If you don't know what coconut pulling is, you can just do a YouTube or Google search and you can see what that does. It's a great way to help with bad breath. The next one is actually one of the most common ones I've seen, and I wrote about it here in my book, The Intermittent Fasting Cheat Sheet. By the way, if you want to get a free digital download of this book, I answer the top 20 questions on intermittent fasting and back each answer up with science and my experience. You could go to fastingcheatsheet.com and get this book for absolutely free. The most common thing I see with intermittent fasting as a side effect is feeling cold. My clients text me all the time, or I see comments on YouTube and Instagram. I feel cold during a fast. Is this a sign of my metabolism shutting down or my thyroid dysfunctioning? Not necessarily so. It's actually very common because here's what's happening. It means your body's burning fat, which is great. When you're going through a fast, your body's gonna activate brown adipose tissue, which is brown fat. The reason this fat is brown is because it's very mitochondrial dense. It burns a lot more calories than white fat. White fat is the nasty fat around our belly, our love handles. When you fast, you activate brown fat. So that feeling of feeling cold during a fast could be the brown fat converting the white fat to brown fat. It's blood rushing away from muscle tissue to brown fat. Completely normal. Something to use to help lessen the feeling of being cold is to take some vitamin B1 in the form of nutritional yeast. I like nutritional yeast added to your food. It has high amounts of vitamin B1, which can help with feeling cold. And then just bundle up You know, when you're shaking like that, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Think of your body as burning fat. Also, T3 hormone could drop temporarily during a fast because there's not much need for it. Absolutely normal, but that could result in your body not adjusting to temperature fluctuations as well. Now, this is more of a concern if you suspect that it's your thyroid. If you're doing a lot of fasting, if you've been doing too much fasting, then it could be a problem. But in this scenario, I'm not talking about that. Next side effect is insomnia and/or feeling anxious. When we fast, we activate our sympathetic tone. These are what's called our counter-regulatory hormones. They all run counter to insulin. So when you fast, you're not spiking insulin or glucose, which is awesome. So what happens is the body's not getting energy from glucose, so it actually activates your counter-regulatory hormones. These hormones run counter to insulin. They're cortisol, epinephrine, noradrenaline. We also have human growth hormone and glucagon and IGF-1. These are fat-burning hormones. They're hormones that your body's actually giving you energy. But it can result in you feeling a little stressed out, and it could interfere with your sleep because your body's actually pumping you full of energy to go find food out there in the wilderness. But we are so blessed to live in a world, hopefully you are blessed to live in an area where there's food abundantly available to us. I mean, here in America, we are so privileged and blessed to just press a button on our phone for Uber Eats, and 30 minutes later we have a millennial knocking on our door with a handful of food. But the body doesn't know about Uber Eats. The body doesn't know about your refrigerator. The body doesn't know about all those restaurants around us. When we fast, we are hardwired for the old school, and our body pumps us full of energy. So it could result in you not getting good sleep because your body wants to help you find food instead. So it's important to master stress here. If you're somebody who is A-type, you have a lot of stress in your life, then doing a lot of fasting is probably not a good idea. So we want to master our stress. I didn't say manage, master our stress. Love and gratitude are two of the biggest healers in this world. Being authentic and honest is a big healer because if you are lying to yourself, if you're lying to people around you, liars cannot heal. Be authentic, show up, be present, practice loving yourself, practice gratitude. Make sure you are doing things like meditation and long walks and grounding, using lavender essential oils, taking magnesium malate, taking a supplement like Cerephos. These are all things that are going to help calm the adrenals, help with that feeling of anxiety, and help with your sleep. You might need to shorten your fasting window before you lengthen it because you got to take care of yourself first. You got to master your stress. The next side effect is going to be hair loss. When the body burns fat, it's so common to lose hair. The hair will grow back in a few months, stronger and better than ever, but here's the deal. Weight loss is a stressful event. Weight loss is a shock to the system. It's anti-survival to lose weight. And hair grows in phases. Let the phase pass and the hair will grow back stronger and better than ever. Typically, it takes about 3 to 5 months for that hair to grow back thicker and stronger than ever, but there are certain things and certain nutrients you can consume to prevent the hair loss and have that hair feel thick. So taking a B complex vitamin that includes biotin will help. Consuming a lot of collagen, protein, some healthy bone broth will help. Taking magnesium will help. And I have a list of supplements that I use on my clients and also the members of the Keto Camp Academy who want to thicken their hair. I'll put it down below. So understand that it's normal. I have a detailed video on what happens to your hair during keto and how hair loss can occur and what to do about it. I'll put a link for that right above here in the cards of this video. Next side effect is going to be mood swings, feeling hangry. If you skip a meal and you get hangry, that's a sign that you probably went into fasting too soon and you want to probably get keto adapted beforehand because fasting is a muscle that we develop. We wouldn't be a couch potato for 10 years, watching Netflix for 10 years, getting no physical activity for 10 years, and then say, oh, I heard about this wonderful thing called CrossFit. I'm going to register for a class tomorrow. What's going to happen to you? You are going to feel like crap during that workout. You're not going to get through that workout, and you might even hurt yourself during that workout. It's the same thing with fasting. If you've been a sugar burner, eating every 2 to 3 hours, eating a stupid American diet for several years, and then you say, oh, I read Ben's book, Intermittent Fasting Cheat Sheet, and I'm going to fast tomorrow. It's going to look ugly, you're going to feel like crap, and you might hurt yourself. Fasting is a tool, fasting is a muscle that we want to develop. So it's important to get keto adapted beforehand. If you're feeling hangry, irritable during a fast, you went into it too soon. So get keto adapted. In my Keto Camp Academy, I have a 28-day keto jumpstart. Week by week, day by day, I guide you into teaching your cells to burn fat instead of sugar. And then we start intermittent fasting. If you want to learn more about the Keto Camp Academy and try it out for 7 days, head over to ketocamp.academy.com and get started with that 28-day pillar. So that's the goal here. That's your antidote. Shorten the fasting window, work on that metabolic flexibility, and then lengthen your fasting window. The next side effect is going to be a favorite of yours here. Weight loss. Because we don't lose weight to get healthy. Like Dr. Berg always says, we get healthy to lose weight. Being overweight is not the problem. Hey, look, when I was obese, weighing 80 pounds heavier than you see right now in front of you, I did not have a weight problem. I had a weight symptom. So when I took care of my health by practicing healthy keto and fasting, a side effect of getting healthy was that the weight came off. That's why counting calories, counting macros, it's such a huge distraction from what really matters, which is the cells and the hormones. So when you get healthy with intermittent fasting, a side effect is the weight will come off. We don't focus on weight loss, we focus on health. People come to keto and fasting for the weight loss benefits, but they stay for the health benefits. The next side effect of intermittent fasting is you save a lot of time and money. I did some math for you. If you were to practice intermittent fasting 5 days a week, you're just skipping breakfast, and on average you spend $15 on breakfast. Do you know how much money you would save each year? $3,900. You could use that money to spend on higher quality food, organic food, the supplements that I mentioned. So you save money with intermittent fasting. You also save time. If you spend 30 minutes each morning, 5 days a week on breakfast, but you start to skip that because you're doing intermittent fasting, you get back 7,800 minutes per year. What can you do with that time? You could read a book, you could practice some grounding, you could do some things that are gonna help benefit your future instead of focusing on food, which is a distraction in the morning if you wanna crush your day. So that's a side effect, you save time and money, and I have one more side effect for you. This is important to understand. Before I get to that, if this has been helpful here on YouTube, smash that thumbs up button. Let me know what has been your favorite side effect so far, or protocol I should say. And if you're not subscribed to this Keto Camp YouTube channel yet, hit that subscribe button with that little bell. Share this video with somebody you know who's practicing intermittent fasting, or they're thinking about practicing intermittent fasting, because this is the structure that's going to help them, because structure trumps intention. We could have all the best intentions to practice fasting and do some things that are gonna be great, but if you don't have the structure in place, none of that will really come into fruition. So the final side effect here of intermittent fasting, this is important. Your friends, your family, your coworker might think you're nuts. Look, when you start to change, you become a threat to all of those around you who do not change. There's a story about crabs in a bucket. It turns out when we put crabs in a bucket, you could leave those crabs in a bucket overnight without a lid and they'll be there the next morning, all of them. Because anytime a crab tries to escape from that bucket, all the other crabs will see that crab trying to escape for freedom and it'll claw at it, rip at it, drag it back down, and make sure that crab does not escape. We have people in our lives that care about us, but they're crabs in a bucket. When we do things to take care of our health, when we start eating healthy and doing some intermittent fasting, it's going to trigger people. It's going to point a mirror to our friends, our family, and coworkers to what they're not doing for their health, what they're not doing with their goals. So be it. Find your tribe, and your vibe equals your tribe. There's a book out there called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, and the author Bonnie Ware was a hospice nurse in Australia, and she interviewed people who were dying on their deathbed, hundreds and hundreds of people, and the number one regret of the dying was not living a life true to themselves, living a life of what others expected them to do. That's terrible. So when it comes to fasting, when it comes to your goals, health, business, whatever it is, that's your unique vision. That's your purpose. Nobody has your goals. Nobody's living your life. It's important to surround yourself with people who are going to support you, uplift you, cheer you on. I cheer you on. Keto campers, we all support each other here, because our environment is more important than heredity. Fasting has been around forever. When somebody's giving you crap for it, understand that they don't understand anything about it. They haven't seen the science, and I relate this to what Dr. Jason Fung talks about, people who are lecturing birds on how to fly. They're out there looking at birds saying, no, you got to flap your wings this way. No, flap this wing, your wing this way. They know nothing about it. Same thing with fasting. Stay the course, Surround yourself with a community that's going to support you, like the Keto Camp Academy, and you're going to be on your way to getting amazing results in 2020 and beyond. I hope this video has been beneficial to you. If you'd like health coaching and that community that I spoke about, then go head over to ketocampacademy.com and get signed up for a free 7-day trial of the Keto Camp Academy, learn how to master keto, fasting, and so much more. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and thank you so much for spending part of your day with me.